Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name is Ron Tyler. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our program this evening. Guys, it's going to be a great evening. I promise you that. We've got a lot of things that we want to talk about tonight. We want to cover a lot of things that are going on, and we hope you'll stay tuned for our entire broadcast this evening. Now, guys, I'm going to wait just a couple minutes here to get a full chat room here. I want to make sure we get everybody in here because I'd rather not keep repeating myself, as some people have asked me to do in the past. When they don't hear something at the beginning, it's because they didn't get in here soon enough after we first came on the air. So guys, what I'm going to do is this. I want you all to please give us a thumbs up before we even get started here. If you enjoy our program, you know what we have to offer you, and you like what we're talking about, please give us a thumbs up and let us know that you appreciate our program. 2, guys, please subscribe to our channel. If you like what we're doing and you think it has meaning and meaningfulness in your life and you want to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe. When you subscribe to this channel, also make sure there's a little bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that little bell icon. Okay? The little bell icon will get you notified when we come on the air. When you click on that bell icon, there's a drop-down menu of 3 items that are going to come up. When you click on that 3 items and it comes up, please click on the word ALL, all. Click on that word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on the air, always. However, be advised, YouTube does not always do that. YouTube does not always notify everybody when we come on the air. So please, guys, sometime after 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we come on the air. Please know that. We want everybody to understand when we come on the air. It's very important. However, if there is an emergency after we've come on the air, if there's an emergency after our normal time on the air, and we come on at night, late at night, or early in the morning, be advised there is an emergency. There's a reason we came on the air. We do that, whether it be Monday through Friday, our normal times, or we come on the air late at night, early in the morning, or even on weekends. We try to take weekends off. On weekends, we'll come on the air if there's an emergency on Saturday or Sunday. On Sundays, we come on the air about 12 noon, 12:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time with a program of spiritual significance. We talk about Sunday school. Okay? It's a program that we call Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. So please tune in for that about 12:30 in the afternoon on Sunday afternoon. We do that for you. We do it for everybody. We've been doing that for almost 6 years now, ever since COVID, when we were asked by the churches and people couldn't go to church. We were asked to come on the air and do Sunday school. We've been doing it ever since. So please tune in for that Sunday afternoon about 12:30 in the afternoon. Guys, today, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's past Taco Tuesday. It's hump day. I took out the trash today. I'm taking out the trash every Wednesday. I take out the trash all the time. But anyway, today I want to talk about storms. I want to first talk about the hurricane season and what we're going to expect. I'm going to show you right now out in the Atlantic Ocean. Out in the Atlantic Ocean, way out in the central Atlantic, we have a storm called Erin. It's a tropical storm right now. It's going to turn into a hurricane by this weekend, possibly even as early as tomorrow. It's going to have winds upwards of 120 miles per hour. By Friday, it's going to turn into Category 3. That's a pretty powerful storm. And here are the spaghetti models here. Okay, this storm is not going after the Florida Peninsula. It's not even going to reach the east coast of the United States right now. Right now. There is a possibility things could change. But this right now, I'm showing you the spaghetti models. The spaghetti models. They're computer models showing the storm turning to the north out here in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, yes, it's going to go just north of the Virgin Islands and north of Puerto Rico. With that said, the outer part of the storm to the south could affect Puerto Rico to some extent, or even the Virgin Islands, meaning heavy rain, some wind and heavy rain. Now, if it moves anywhere closer to that, there will be heavy rain and the possibility of tornadoes in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. Right now, there are storm advisories out over Bermuda. That's going to continue probably for the next 3 or 4 days. Now, I want to go over to Fox News right now, to Fox Weather. Watch this program here. This is important. This is very important. I want you to get the full emphasis on what's going on here. Okay? Huge tropical depression now out over the Atlantic Ocean, and it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better during the next week and a half. Watch this program here. This is about 7.5 minutes.
We have Fox Weather hurricane specialist Brian Norcross joining us this morning. Aaron hasn't really been able to strengthen significantly, Brian. Not that we're complaining, but important to note that what happens now is not what we are expecting as it heads further west and closer towards the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's been in somewhat hostile conditions. Both the water under it's been a little cool, lots of dry air as we've been talking about, so that's slowed it down. Just to make a quick mention, that system that they had a half an eye on in the North Atlantic up here is not an issue. And this in the Gulf, folks in the Gulf are talking about this. This is more likely to be a moisture surge for South Texas and the Mexican coast. No big concern there, no sign of it ever developing into anything strong. Could be a depression, 20% chance. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on with Aaron. As you were showing there, there's one bundle of thunderstorms blowing up, so that's a sign that it's trying to push the dust out as it speeds along a little bit south of due west. That's because big high pressure up here is strong for now, but it's going to move out of that strong part of the high pressure system into a weaker part, and all systems want to try and turn north. It's something called the beta effect, and it's related to the spinning of the Earth. So once it gets to the weaker high pressure, then it starts that turn to the north, and of course that's what we've been talking about. Here's the close-up, and we can see that it's got a healthy circulation. There's a band here that's kind of wrapping around, and so it's pretty good size. So once it gets to this more conducive atmosphere, then we're going to end up with a pretty big storm. At least that's the thinking right now. And with the thunderstorms flaring up there, that tells you that the atmosphere right around the core of the storm is indeed moistening. And we can see that here when we look at the dust. You can see there's still plenty of dust here, and it's wrapping around the system, so some of that's getting in there, kind of gumming up the works. But look up ahead. The dust is much thinner here. The really thick dust has moved here into the Caribbean. So it's going to move into a thinner dust regime. Still some dry air and dust, but not a lot. It's also going to move here into warmer water really quickly, and over here it gets into a lot warmer water. So just like if you live in Florida, you know that it gets very humid in the summertime because the water offshore is very warm. The wind blows over that, picks up a lot of moisture. So the warmer the water, the more moisture in the air. Same idea here. The warmer the water, the more moisture available for the system to intensify. So that's why one of the big reasons for thinking intensification, besides the atmosphere looks conducive. So here's the National Hurricane Center forecast. You see they have it by tomorrow up to 60 miles an hour, then a hurricane by Friday, and then continuing to intensify now or in much warmer water, although there's still some dry air there in the atmosphere, which will slow this a little bit. But anyway, they've got a Category 3 hurricane here just to the north of Puerto Rico in that Sunday into Monday timeframe. So Saturday through the weekend, that's the closest approach point for the island. So let's look at that close up. You can see Hurricane Center has 115 mile per hour Category 3 in this whole region here, just to the north, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and the Northeast Caribbean. Now, obviously, it makes a huge difference whether the system goes right down the middle here or it comes over here. And this is why we can't say that it's not going to be a kind of nasty weekend. But The strongest part of the system is on the right side. So that would be more like fringe effects. The question is, how much of a fringe effect, and that just depends on exactly where it ends up there in the cone. Here's a model analysis. If the system is in the center of the cone there you can see the strong gusts coming down into the Northeast Caribbean. You can see if it were to the left side of the cone, the bottom side, those gusts would affect the islands much more. So we're still too close to call. Here we are Sunday afternoon. So this weekend, anyway, everybody in the Northeast Caribbean, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, you need to stay on top of what the exact latest forecast is. Here's the way the models indicated. Notice there's increasing confidence that the center isn't going to affect the islands, but certainly fringe effects of a pretty good-sized storm, and also that it's going to start turning up in here in this Monday time frame. So significantly increased confidence today. This is not going to be any direct impact for the east coast of the U.S. Bermuda, of course, we do need to keep an eye out for them. Okay, there's the forecast area there on Sunday. Cold front to the north, or a front to the north, splits the high pressure system, opens the door to the north in some fashion. How far it swings, we don't know, but likely to the west of Bermuda and the east of the United States. That's the look right now. That means Bermuda may be on the nasty side of this storm. Here are the possibilities from the 4 big models that we're watching now, and there you see where on Tuesday could be. Notice Bermuda has to watch this very closely, but if you've been watching us, this is shifting away from the U.S. coast. And let's go forward in time now. That's Wednesday, and here we are Thursday. Notice there's a big array of possibilities, but only a few right along the coast. But the majority of them are right in here somewhere, well offshore. Well, if the storm is well offshore, how about the effect at the beach? Well, here we are Wednesday, and there you can see we start to get from Long Island on down the coast, impacts here from energy from the storm, high waves, strong currents, rip currents, and so forth. And then we go forward in time. Thursday comes up, starts to affect New England, especially southern New England. This is going to put high surf and beach eroding waves along the coast. And then moving past New England, now we're talking Nova Scotia up here at the end of the week. And the water should start to settle along the East Coast. But this next week could be quite dangerous at the beaches along the coast, and we could see some coastal erosion problems.
Okay, I want to pause right there and then I'll continue. With these high surf, guys, this is not like the Pacific Ocean. Okay, the high surf here along the East Coast of the United States and Canada is not going to be high surf like you'd see along the West Coast of the U.S. at all. Okay, this high surf will be very dangerous. It's being propelled by a hurricane. It will be very dangerous. Yes, we can see waves up to 6 feet high. We can see rip currents as well. Does everybody know what a rip current is? Rip current is a current that takes people out to sea. It takes the water near the shoreline and takes it out to sea, meaning anybody in the water, including surfers, could end up being dragged out to sea, and then you would probably die. You can't fight the current. The only thing you can do is swim parallel to the shoreline. Swim parallel to the shoreline, and then when the current eases, you can gradually swim over to the shoreline and get out of the water. That's a proper way to do it. Don't try to swim against the current. It's going to drag you further and further away from the shoreline, and you're going to tire and die. Don't be caught in rip currents. My whole thing right now is to stay completely out of the water. I used to be a surfer. I used to surf the beaches of Southern California. I used to surf primarily in San Diego. I also surfed over in the area around Los Angeles, Huntington Beach, all the way down to San Onofre Nuclear Power Plant in North San Diego County, Carlsbad, Oceanside area, all the way down to Imperial Beach. I've surfed the entire beach coastline from Los Angeles to San Diego. These currents here on the East Coast are completely different. Stay out of the water this weekend. Do not try to go in it, even if you're experienced and you're a surfer. Stay out of it.
as well. But guys, I think on balance, in terms of the numbers of people affected, the news is good today, and that we're getting this real consensus of the storm now staying offshore, and ocean effects more on the U.S., although Bermuda and the northeastern Caribbean obviously going to have to watch it closely.
Yeah, and we'll be paying attention to that thing, Brian, as I know you will too. Speaking, before we let you go, on intensity, obviously seeing this still become a major hurricane, which will happen north of Puerto Rico, we'll have to watch. We often mention how a stronger storm has more of an influence by that Bermuda high. Is there still a solution where the storm does not reach the intensity that the Hurricane Center is forecasting, and could that ultimately affect maybe the track, keeping it a little farther to the south? I know that, as you had mentioned, the majority of models today have shifted farther to the east or the right side of that track.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility of it staying a little weaker, and that's why we see, as we go forward in time, this wider variety of possibilities. But the thing today is that wide variety is all offshore, where we have been seeing a subset, not insignificant subset, actually affect the U.S. More directly. So I think we've got enough maneuvering room today within the models to account for lower intensities and so forth, but still not be a direct hit on the east coast of the U.S. And Bermuda, as we've talked about, is battened down every day of the year. Mm-hmm. So, we'll just have to watch for them.
As Marissa had mentioned, Bermuda is essentially a fortress. How they have fortified that island in order to prepare for these things. Yeah. All right, well, the one thing, not much that can come good out of hurricane season, but the one good thing about these main development region storms, these Cabo Verde storms, we have a lot of time to watch them. And
okay, we still have a lot of time to watch them. You need to understand that. We do have a lot of time to watch these things. This right now is really the only storm we need to worry about. Okay, that's the only storm we really need to worry about. However, let's go back to the beginning of this conversation this afternoon. Okay, notice the Gulf Coast, the western part of Florida, going over along Alabama. Remember that? Down over to Mississippi, New Orleans, Louisiana area, and over into Texas. That area along the Gulf Coast has gotten a lot of rain. Okay, we saw heavy rain for the last week batter Florida. Now that rain system has moved across Florida into the northern Gulf. That area is going to have heavy rain. Now, we don't expect it to be any more than a disturbance at all. But there will be heavy rain along Gulf Shores, Alabama, over into Mississippi, and all the way over into Louisiana and that area of Texas. Everybody needs to be aware of it. It's going to happen. You guys are going to have some heavy rain, but I do not think it's going to turn out to be any more than that. After that heavy rain moves through, though, the storm is going to head north into the United States. It's going to affect northwestern Texas, Arkansas, and going up into even Missouri. You guys are going to see rain from that as well. So be aware of that. Okay? But right now, we do not have any major storms down in the Gulf of America at all. Yes, we have a 20% chance of that storm down in the Yucatan Peninsula area hitting Belize and hitting Central America. But that's all. Right now, it's 20% chance of that. Okay? Aaron is our only worry here out in the central mid-Atlantic Ocean. There is another storm east of there, but we're going to watch that develop over the next week. Right now, it's not posing any threat. All it is a tropical depression. That's all. Do we have any questions about this storm at all? I want to take any questions now. Catherine Sigerson said they reported a 2,000 earthquake off of British Columbia, Canada. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Okay. Now, with that said, let me take that down. Let's go over to the USGS map now. Okay, I'm going to take down our EMA banner. I'm going to take down our webcam now. Again, I've got this centered right now for the southeastern part of the Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia. Yes, we've had some large earthquakes. We have had some large earthquakes. I'm going to admit that. But we don't have anything really bad. We don't have anything really bad. However, this is something we need to pay attention to as well. Okay? Now I'm going to work my way back over here to Canada as well. But over here, off the coast of Kamchatka Peninsula, this is a large 5.0 earthquake. 5.0 earthquake. These are all aftershocks of the 7.4, 7.8, and the 8.8, 9.4 earthquake. Now, as I said before, when that 8.8 earthquake hit, I showed you evidence that that earthquake was probably a 9.4 earthquake. Okay? Now we're having aftershocks from all those events. When we first had the 7.4 earthquake down here, we thought that was going to be the largest. We thought it was going to be the largest, but it wasn't. The magnitudes increase. That can happen. Anytime we have an earthquake that is a large, very, very strong 6.0 and larger to a 7.0 major earthquake and larger, we could have an aftershock which could supersede that. And that's what happened. We had a 7.4, we had a 7.8, and then we had an 8.8, which was really a 9.4 earthquake. Now, every one of those earthquakes after the 8.8 are all aftershocks. They're all aftershocks. This 5.0 right here is an aftershock of the 8.8, 9.4 earthquake. Right next to it, we have a 5.0. To the north of it, this earthquake here is closer to Chivalrous volcano. This is a 4.2 moderate earthquake. Further to the south here, we have a 5.0 earthquake here. Further to the west here, we have a 4.7 moderate quake there. Southeast of that 5.0, we have another 4.5 earthquake here. South of that, we have a 4.6 moderate quake here. Now these quakes are very shallow quakes. Each and every one of these quakes are shallow quakes. They're not moderately deep, they're not deep at all. Over here into the Kuril Islands to the south, this is a 4.0 moderate earthquake. Now, USGS is going to continue downgrading these quakes, and pretty soon they're not going to show any earthquakes at all. But because this last major quake was so large, we can see aftershocks for months and even years. I want to emphasize that. We're going to see aftershocks from that quake for months and even years. USGS may not show it, but they're going to be here nonetheless. Okay? USGS is not very good and reliable at all. Used to be. Back in the 70s and 80s, USGS did it all. Now they're shirking their responsibilities. They can't do anything right, in my opinion. Okay? Let's go over here to Alaska. Not a lot of anything really going on here in Alaska. Yes, we do have some minor tremors. We do have some small minor earthquakes. Up here around Mount McKinley. Okay? Just over here on the eastern limb of Mount McKinley, we have a 1.4 tremor. Just to the north of Mount McKinley here, this is a 1.2 tremor. Denali National Park, all these quakes are at. Denali National Park. Just to the southeast of there is a 1.3 tremor. Way down on the southeast side of Denali, we have a 2.4 earthquake, minor earthquake. To the north of Denali, these are all tremors here. They're all tremors. Up here further to the north, this is 4 Mile Road, Alaska. This is a 1.4 tremor as well. We have some microquakes. Right here is 0.9, and this is a 1.7 tremor here. Up to the north, this is Minto, Alaska, 1.4 tremor here. Nothing really to show here at all. Up to the north of that is Bethel, Alaska. This earthquake is a 2.2 minor earthquake here north of Bethel, Alaska. Over here to the west, okay? Over here to the west, we have a 2.7 earthquake near Noatak, Alaska. Noatak, Alaska. This is a quarter of a mile deep. This is a very shallow earthquake. We have no other earthquakes at all over here in the Arctic Circle. This is the closest earthquake to the Arctic Circle right here. You can see the Arctic Circle tundra of Alaska here, that's gray and white here. Okay, that's a tundra of Alaska, the Arctic Circle. Okay, now, Captain Sigurdsson was talking about a 2.0 earthquake over here off the coast, or over here in Vancouver, Canada area time. This is a 2.3 explosion. They say this is a 2.3 explosion. Okay, let's zoom in on this. I want to show you what's actually happened here. Look where it's at. It's out in the forested area. This was not an explosion. Yes, we have some quarries further to the south. This was not an explosion. This was a 2.3 minor earthquake. A 2.3 minor earthquake here. USGS, when they talk about explosions, rarely is it ever an explosion. Sometimes we have a quarry blast at a quarry, but when they say it's a quarry blast and it's out in the middle of nowhere, that is a tremor. I don't know why USGS continues to call these things explosions, but they're not. They're not that at all. We go down here to Mount Baker National Forest here. They're not showing any earthquakes at all, which is a fallacy. It's a lie. Mount Baker is an active volcano. Mount Baker is experiencing earthquakes and harmonic tremors. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night. They're also not showing anything over here at the Alpine Lakes Wilderness. Nothing. Why not? They're showing one earthquake over here in Mount Rainier. One earthquake. It's over here in the summit of Mount Rainier. They're calling this a 0.6 microquake. Guess what? It's a third of a mile deep inside the volcano. This is not the only earthquake that hit. Yes, we have microquakes all over Mount Rainier, literally all over and around Mount Rainier all the time. When they say there's only a microquake or a tremor here, they're lying through their teeth. We've had upwards of 2.0, 2.5 minor earthquakes. We've had at least two 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here at Mount Rainier today. Them saying there's only one microquake here, they're lying through their teeth. Mount Rainier is an active volcano, and in fact, it is preparing to erupt. To the northwest over here, Ashford, this is 14 miles east-northeast of Ashford, Washington. 0.6 microquake here. This is a third of a mile deep as well. Okay? Over here in the Olympic Peninsula, this is a 1.5 tremor here near Chico, Washington. North of here, to the northeast of Olympic Mountain here, which is also a volcano, this is a 1.1 tremor here. Just over here to the west of that is another 1.4 tremor here. This is 7 miles north of Quilcene, Washington. 7 miles north of Quilcene, Washington. This is 14.4 miles deep. Still a very shallow earthquake. These are not by any stretch of the imagination the only quakes here in Washington state at all. Earthquakes are all over Washington, Oregon, and even Vancouver Island. I'm going to show more of that tomorrow night. Down here in Oregon, this is a 1.1 tremor here near Lowell, Oregon. They're not showing any earthquakes either at Mount Hood. Well, let's go back. They're not showing any earthquakes at all at Mount St. Helens. What a joke. Mount St. Helens is a big earthquake zone right now. Over here Further to the east, Mount Adams. There is a huge magma chamber down underneath Mount Adams, and we can't take it for granted either. Mount Adams is moving, Mount Adams is steaming, and if they don't want to show something, they don't want to show it because they're afraid of what they might show us. They're not showing anything at Mount Hood. There are hundreds of earthquakes and microquakes at Mount Hood today. They're not showing anything further to the south over here at Bachelor Volcano. They're not showing anything at Newberry or down here south over here into Sisters Volcanic Complex. They're also not showing anything down here at Crater Lake. What a joke. What a joke. Crater Lake is swarming with earthquakes today. They're not showing anything at all. If I was an employee for USGS right now, I would be totally embarrassed. I would be totally embarrassed. Damon Catman's here in the chat says it amazes him that the explosions are supposedly miles deep. I agree. You can tell whether they're an explosion or not, how deep they are. Okay? If it was an explosion, it would be a surface quake, 0.0 surface quake or something like that. Yes, it could be a 1.2, 1.5 explosion if it's close to the surface, at the surface, but it's not. Those are deep, I shouldn't say deep, but they're shallow quakes. Nova Scotia Ridge Quake, which is Richard Smith here. Again, he started his own channel the other day. He said, making tunnels. Dang little varmints. You're absolutely right. Catherine Sigurdsson said, I don't think we talked about New Madrid today. Catherine, we're going to talk about New Madrid in just a minute. Hang in there with us. Okay, now down here west of Medford, Oregon, we have another one of those USBS explosions. We have a USBS explosion here. Look where it's at. Look where this explosion is at. It's in a forested area right next to a pond. This again is not an explosion. This is a tremor, a 1.5 tremor here. Okay? Again, if I was working for USGS, I would be very astounded by what they're saying here, knowing that they're lying to the public, completely and outrightly lying to the public. They're not showing any earthquakes up here near Mount Shasta or Mount Lassen. What a joke that is. What a frickin' joke that is. Okay? We've talked about earthquakes down here in California yesterday. Yes, we have a lot of earthquakes in California, especially Southern California. Especially Southern California. Last night after we got off the air, there were more earthquakes along the San Andreas Fault. This is a 1.5 tremor here near Fraser's Park on the San Andreas Fault. It's right next to the Garlock, but this is on the San Andreas Fault. 1.5 tremor. We had 2.5 earthquakes here on the San Andreas Fault last night. Today they're showing an earthquake over here near Santa Barbara. 1.1 tremor here near Santa Barbara, California. Los Angeles is getting nailed today. This is only part of it. Again, they're not showing exactly what's going on. They're lying to the public. There's probably close to 400 earthquakes here in Los Angeles area today. There were 400 earthquakes here in LA today. Right here, La Mirada. This is a 2.4 earthquake. 2.4 earthquake. This earthquake happened at 3:10 a.m. this morning, approximately midnight last night Pacific time. Further closer to here to the New Madrid Fault. Again, this is Mentone, California. This happened at 10 a.m. this morning. 2.3 earthquake. This earthquake here, also south of Mentone, this is a 1.1 tremor. Further to the north on the east side of the New Madrid, Bear Lake, California, this is a 0.8 microquake. Further to the south here, just north of the San Jacinto, got another 1.5 tremor here. This is near Beaumont, California. South and east here, Cabazon, California. This is a 1.2 tremor here. Closer to the closer to the San Andreas, this is a 1.1 tremor here, Banning, California. Further south over here on the San Andreas, Morongo Valley, this is a microquake, 0.6 microquake here. You can see earthquakes up and down the San Andreas and up and down the San Jacinto Fault, all the way into San Diego County, northeast San Diego County. This earthquake here is on the Elsinore Fault here near Lake Henshaw, California, just northeast of Escondido. This is a 0.8 microquake here. Further to the east out here in the Anza Gap area, the Anza Borrego Desert State Park in northeast San Diego County. Again, over here in the Imperial County area here, east of San Diego County, right here. This is just north of Calipatria, California. This is very close to the Salton Butte volcano in the southern part of the Salton Sea. The Salton Butte volcano is right now covered by water. This is a 0.9, 1.0 tremor here in the water underneath the Salton Sea, right near the Salton Butte volcano. Also right here along the southern coastline of the Salton Sea is another 1.6 tremor here. They are not the only events here in this area. Just south of here we have Calipatria. There is a seismograph located in Calipatria. That seismograph would show us 75 to 150 earthquakes every day. USGS is still lying to the public. There are over 500 earthquakes every day here in the Imperial Valley. Right here in the Imperial Valley. For that to happen, you know that they're lying to the public about it. They cannot tell the truth. They cannot be trusted at all. At all. Okay? Now let's go over to the New Madrid Fault here. USBS again is not showing us any earthquakes here. What a joke. Not showing us a single earthquake here. What a joke. I'm going to show you tremors and I'm going to show you earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. Also over here on the East Coast, I'm going to show you earthquakes in Virginia. I'm going to show you earthquakes here in North Carolina, and earthquakes down here in South Carolina and Georgia as well. Look out, guys. We're going to have an earthquake trip here. We are going to have an earthquake trip here. I promise you, we're going to have a good time here. Okay? Well, before we get to that, I want to go down here to Puerto Rico first. Okay? Down here in the Dominican Republic, south of the Dominican Republic here to the southeast, we have a 3.6 earthquake here. 3.6 small earthquake here. Over here in the water between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, we have the, I'm trying to open it up here so you can see it. It's called the Mona Passage. The Mona Passage here. This earthquake here is a 3.8 small earthquake in the Mona Passage here. Okay. Now let's go over here to southwestern Puerto Rico. On December 26th and December 28th, 2019, the day after Christmas and 2 days later, we had an 8.0 and an 8.4 earthquake that hit there. Destroyed businesses, destroyed homes. It completely shook the ground over Puerto Rico. The epicenter was here in southwestern Puerto Rico. That's why you continue to see aftershocks here today. All of these earthquakes here in southwestern Puerto Rico are a result of the 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes that occurred here back in 2019. Nearly 6 years ago. Nearly 6 years ago. This red earthquake you see here just barely happened. It just barely happened. This is a 2.4 earthquake here. minor 2.4 earthquake. This is at La Porguera, Puerto Rico. La Porguera, Puerto Rico. This is along the shoreline of Puerto Rico here. Out here in the water off the shore. This is 2 miles offshore of La Porguera. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. Further to the east here. This is a 2.3. This is 5 miles southeast of La Porguera. Further to the east and north here. This is a 2.3. 4 miles southwest of Guanica, Puerto Rico. Let's go inland a little bit. This is a 2.4 near Fugue, F-U-I-G, Puerto Rico. 2.4 minor earthquake. To the northeast here, this is a 1.6, also just barely 1 mile northwest of Fugue, Puerto Rico. It's basically in Fugue, Puerto Rico right here. Okay. Again, to the south here is that 2.3 we showed you. Further out here towards the east, this is 2.3 near Indios, Puerto Rico. Indios, Puerto Rico. Over here, you see this one is near Guainía, Puerto Rico. This is a 2.1 earthquake. Further north, just almost directly north, is a 2.0 on the northwest side of Guainía. That's a 2.0. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. Down to the south, out into the ocean here. This is a 2.4. This is 2 miles southwest of Talaboa, Puerto Rico. All the earthquakes you see here are aftershocks of the 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes that hit here December 26th and December 28th, 2019. I covered these earthquakes. It's too bad, too dadgum bad that YouTube didn't like me because I talked about COVID. I talked about the shot. I talked about the jab. Whatever they want to call it, I talked about it. YouTube didn't like it. After 4 years of broadcasting on my first channel, they took it down because I violated Joe Biden's censor of what I was talking about. He did not want anybody talking about COVID or anything else to do with his administration. Tried to pull the wool over everybody's eyes. You would still see the shows here when I talked about this. I show you evidence that those earthquakes were man-made. Those were not natural earthquakes here in Puerto Rico, they were man-made. Let me briefly tell you about it. There's an earthquake over here in the San Juan here, off the coast of San Juan, 7 miles. This earthquake has nothing to do with the earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico. This is a 2.6 here. But let me go over here to Norway. Let's go up here to Norway. Right up here in Norway, we have a station here operated by a U.S. agency. Operated by a U.S. agency. Now, just briefly, I'm going to bring up a webcam. Now, I'm going to ask all of you, please refrain from putting this word on our chat. Please refrain from putting this word on our chat. I don't want to see it here in our chat at all. YouTube could take me down from the showing this name here. What is it? Look at this, guys. Don't put this in the chat at all. This organization triangulated Puerto Rico, turned on its equipment, and with the help of 2 other facilities, one in Russia and one in southwest or northwestern Australia, targeted Puerto Rico, causing those 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes to happen on December 26th and December 28th. That's what happened. That's what happened. It's very sad. Very sad. Man-made earthquakes caused those major earthquakes in Puerto Rico. Now let me tell you something else you probably ought to know about. Those earthquakes also damaged the island. Those earthquakes also damaged Puerto Rico. How? All these islands out here in the Atlantic and the Pacific, they were made by volcanic action. Volcanic action. Made by lava here. The volcanoes erupted, lava that formed islands all over the world. When these earthquakes hit back in 2019, it damaged the volcano that Puerto Rico sits on. Okay? Now, there is scientific talk that Puerto Rico is sitting on almost nothing now. That its connection to the volcano is very, very frail. Okay? That was what the scientists said just about 2 to 3 years ago. If that's the case, we may see further evidence of the eroding of Puerto Rico. I hope they're wrong. I hope they're wrong. Okay? Any questions about these earthquakes in Puerto Rico? I want to make sure we talked about this because I think it's important. I think it's very important. Now, you do see some earthquakes over here in South America. Let's go talk about this one in northern Peru here. This, folks, is a large 5.0 earthquake near Puerto Santa, Peru. Large 5.0, basically right next to the shoreline, 21 miles west of Puerto Santa, Peru. Again, these are not the only earthquakes here in South America. USGS does not show everything. They don't hardly show anything. Sometimes they show nothing. Down here in the southern part of the northern part of Chile here. This is the border region here. This is the border region of Chile and Argentina. This is 103 miles west of San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina. This is in the mountainous region of the Andes Mountains here. The mountainous regions of the Andes Mountains. Look what's here. Look what's here. Volcanoes. This earthquake being a 4.2 moderate earthquake, it may have been influenced by these volcanoes here. Could have been this earthquake here could have magma origins. Could have magmatic origins since it's right near these volcanoes to the northwest and down here to the south as well. Volcanism, guys. Volcanism. Again, this is not the only earthquake in this region. There are about 14 earthquakes here in northern Chile today. There are about another dozen down here near Santiago, central Chile down here. But again, you won't see it on USGS because they're never going to show it. USGS has become the most dishonest federal agency that I've ever seen. The most dishonest federal agency I've ever seen. Okay? Now, I want to go over here to the southwestern Pacific Ocean. Okay? I want to go over here. Bitung, Indonesia. Bitung, Indonesia. This is a 5.3 earthquake here. Over here in the eastern Banda Sea here, this is another 5.0 earthquake here. Neither one of these earthquakes were on land at all. They're out here in the ocean. They were out here in the ocean, and as a result, The ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. Nobody was hurt. There is no property damage. However, that said, there are other earthquakes here in Indonesia. Again, USGS cannot tell the truth. There are 36 earthquakes here in Indonesia almost every day. Anywhere from 30 to 46 earthquakes here in Indonesia every day. They're not telling us the truth at all. There are earthquakes over here in the Philippines. They're not showing anything here. The earthquakes in the Philippines are anywhere from 3.4 to 4.7 earthquakes here in the Philippines. Okay, they're not showing any. They're showing one earthquake over here just southeast of Guam. This is a 5.1 earthquake over here in the Mariana Trench area, southeast of Guam. Again, this is 70 miles away from Guam, approximately 71 miles away from Guam, and far enough away where the ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. Nobody was hurt or injured. Nobody felt anything. Okay? Now, one of the other places we talk about all the time, this is the eastern Fiji region, just east or just west and south of Tonga. This is the 4.5 earthquake here. 4.5 earthquake here. Down here, further south here, this is New Zealand. This is New Zealand. This is a 5.0 large earthquake over here on the North Island of New Zealand. There were people hurt here. There was damage here near Hawke's Bay and Waipukurau here, and further to the north, Hastings here, and now up here, and out here in Hawke's Bay. Out here in Hawke's Bay. There was damage, and there were a few people hurt by this earthquake. A 5.0 earthquake hit here on the North Island of New Zealand, and this happened at approximately 1:59 a.m. this morning, Eastern Time. 1:59 a.m. Eastern Time today, which was actually Thursday morning. Okay? This is the first large earthquake that's hit here on the North Island of New Zealand in a very, very long time. Okay? A very, very long time. They're not showing hardly anything here from the USGS point of view. Not showing anything. This is typical of what we see from the USBS. Okay? Now I'm just going to do something. I'm going to bring up my device here. I want to show you really what's happened over here in the South Pacific here today. Okay, watch this. This might blow your mind. This might blow your mind here. Look at this. Look at those earthquakes over here in Vanuatu as well. You see that one earthquake over in northeastern Fiji? And all those other earthquakes in New Zealand? Yeah. USGS can't tell the truth at all. Not at all. One earthquake over here in the Kermadec Islands. This is a 4.0, 3.9, 4.0 earthquake here in the Kermadec Islands. The Kermadec Islands are not occupied by human beings. They are a bird sanctuary only. They cannot house people because these islands are surrounded by volcanic water. Great big huge volcanic rocks up in the top parts of the ocean, and if man were to approach during low tide, their boats would be destroyed. That's why it's only a bird sanctuary here. Okay. South of the Kermadec Islands here is another 3.5 earthquake here. Let's go further south here. Just north of New Zealand is a 2.48 earthquake. Let's go over here to the Catches Mitt. Okay. This is a 2.54. I'm going to show you these other earthquakes. There are three of them. 2.54, 2.26, another 3.0 earthquake right there. Okay. Now we go further south here, and right next to the land in the Bay of Plenty. This is another 3.0 small quake. Over here at the top of the shoreline here. This is near Gisborne, New Zealand. This is a 2.32 earthquake here. Okay, let's go further south. Now you're going to see almost a perpendicular or straight line running from off the east coast of New Zealand over to the shoreline here. Out off the coast, we have a 2.76. Right next to the coast, we have a 2.55. And on the coastline, we have a 2.84 earthquake. 2.55, 2.6, and a 2.8 earthquake right there, almost in a straight line here, running east to west. Further south, okay, we have a 3.65. Just south of that 3.65, we have a 4.9, 5.0 earthquake. That's the earthquake right there. That is a 5.0 earthquake right there. South of there, this is a 2.23 earthquake here. Notice that fault line running down the middle of the North Island of New Zealand. We have an earthquake there. That earthquake is a 2.74 earthquake. 2.74 earthquake. That earthquake is 21 miles deep. Fairly shallow earthquake. Very, very shallow earthquake. Let's go back up to the north part of the North Island here, just south of the Bay of Plenty. This is a 2.32 earthquake. Then we go down south on, and that was on that earthquake fault coming out of Fiji, the Fiji Trench. Let's go further south, just north of Topo Lake, Topo Volcano. Just north of Topo Volcano, we have a 2.21 earthquake. You see Topo Lake here? That is Topo Volcano. This is a super volcano in the center of the North Island of New Zealand. Just to the west of there, this is a 2.47. There's another one over here just north of there. This is a 2.41. These are all minor earthquakes. South of the super volcano, we go down here. We have here near Wanguni. This is a 2.24 earthquake here. 2.24 earthquake there. That is 63 miles deep. 63 miles deep. Okay. That was that earthquake right there. To the east there, just southeast of that volcano. Okay. That earthquake is another 2.56. 2.56 right there. You see another earthquake south of there. Let's take a look at it. This is a 3.16 here. 3.16 earthquake there. Out to the west. This is Hawara, Taranaki, Taranaki region, New Zealand. This is a 2.4 earthquake. Then we have a few earthquakes over here in the Cook Strait. This is the Cook Strait. So north of the Cook Strait, I'm going to read these earthquakes to you. We have a 2.25, we have a 2.23, we have a 2.26, and over just north of the South Island, we have a 2.73 earthquake there. Again, all of these earthquakes are minor earthquakes. The only large earthquake was over here off the east coast or not off the East Coast, but on the East Coast of New Zealand right there. That was the only 5.0 earthquake that we had. Okay? Down here in the South Island, we have 6 earthquakes here. 2 to the north, 2 to the east, or 1 to the east, 1 in the central part of New Zealand, and 2 down south in Southland, New Zealand National Park. Southland, we have a 2.51, and we have a 2.6 earthquake there. All of these earthquakes are also minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.7 earthquakes on the South Island. That's it. But look at all those earthquakes. The USGS did not want to show you. They showed you that one earthquake in Fiji. Okay? They showed that earthquake in Fiji. How about Vanuatu? They didn't show you these 5 earthquakes here in Vanuatu. This is the 3.6 earthquake here. Small earthquake. 3.0, 3.9 are small earthquakes. That was a 3.6. This one is a 2.5. 3 more here. Actually, 4 more. We have a 3.8 here. Again, Vanuatu region. 3 more to the south here. We have a 2.9, 3.0, another 3.0 earthquake there. Over there in that fault line, the edge of the plate, this is the continental tectonic plate here. Loyalty Islands. North of Loyalty Islands, we have a 2.6 earthquake right there. USGS didn't say anything, did they? Not a word about that. Why not? Why not? There was one earthquake over in northeastern Australia as well. They didn't show that as either. Look at that. It's a 3.17 earthquake there. Southwestern Australia. 3.17 earthquake there. They only said we had one 5.0 in Indonesia. Guess what? 12 Indonesia, 5.0 earthquake there. Another one over here in Gorontalo, Indonesia here. It's a 5.5. So they did even show you one of those earthquakes. USGS must have a phobia about showing large earthquakes, huh? They don't want to admit to anything. Look at all these earthquakes in Indonesia. They're not showing any of those. Over in Burma here to the west, nothing. Northern India, that's a 2.8 Northern India. Afghanistan, Tajikistan right there, 4.0 earthquakes there. Not showing anything. Why not, USGS? You're full of crap. You're full of crap. Now, USGS used to be an agency I used to look up to. Used to be an earthquake agency, a U.S. agency that I looked up to. I now have no respect for them. Not one whit of respect at all. I never will. Never again. Let's go over to the Pneumatic Fault here. I want to show you what's going on here. Okay? This is Catfish Pond, Arkansas. This is over on the western side of the Mississippi River, the western side of the Pneumatic Fault. Yes, all we see here are tremors here today. We've had earthquakes here before. We've had earthquakes here before, but these are just tremors here today. Not the only one. Okay? This is Catfish Pond, Arkansas, this afternoon. This afternoon, the earthquakes got larger. Look at this. Look at this. At the top black line here is 12 noon. On the right side, it is 12:58 p.m. this afternoon. 3.0 earthquake. On the red line on the left-hand side is 12:15 p.m. this afternoon. Over here in the center here, that is 12:07 or 12:22 this afternoon. 12:22 this afternoon, we had a 2.0 earthquake, and then we had a 2.9 3.0 earthquake. Then on the next line down is the green line. Next line down is the blue line. We don't show any activity, but on this green line below that we do. On the green line below that, on the left-hand side, would be 12:45 p.m. this afternoon. Over here we have 12:58. Just before 12:58, we had a bunch of tremors. Then about 12:58, 30 seconds, we had a 2.3 earthquake. Then after that, we had a bunch more twos, and then we had another 3.0 earthquake. After 1:45 p.m. this afternoon, tremors, and again, another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake sequence. Unreal. This is Catfish Pond, Arkansas, on the western side of the Pneumatic Fault, on the river, on the fault. On the fault. Now, I want to show you more activity just a bit further south there at Little River, Arkansas. Look at this. Look at all these tremors here. After 1 o'clock in the morning on the left-hand side, we come over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1:07 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Prior to that, we all have tremor. We just had tremors here. Then after 2 a.m. this morning, we had some 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes and some moderate earthquakes as well. Then nothing but tremors and tremor sequences here. The black line after 5 a.m., a bunch of tremors. After 4 a.m., before that, a bunch of tremors. 6:15 on the blue line. Look at all those tremors. Almost completely 20 minutes worth of tremors here. Unreal. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremors there. Then we come down to 8 a.m. here. On the left-hand side on the black line, that's 8 a.m. You see the tremors and minor earthquakes happening all that whole 20-minute period. Those are a lot of tremors and minor earthquakes. However, we get out here to 8:19 a.m. here. 8:19 a.m. here. All of a sudden, we have a 3.0 earthquake. Then we have a bunch of 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes as well. Then that seismic energy continues over here on the next red line here. This is 8:21 a.m. here. Look at these tremors and minor earthquakes here. Incredible. Incredible. On the Pneumatic Fault, it's moving. Before 3 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, all we had were tremors here on the Pneumatic Fault, nothing more. 1.0, 1.7 tremors, that's it. I don't even think we had a 1.8, 1.9. They were all minor tremors. Tremors are 1.0 to 1.9. That's all we had. Then starting 3 years ago, the tremors became tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors and minor earthquakes. Then about 2 years ago, some of these also turned into small 3.0s. They got larger. They got larger. This is Little River, Arkansas, just north of Little Rock. Incredible, huh? Let's go to the north over to Marktree, Arkansas. Up until a few months ago, we had 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes continuously all day long here at Marktree, Arkansas. Things have changed. Things have changed drastically here. Now we have tremors and we have 3.0 earthquakes. Tremors and 3.0 earthquakes here. Okay, on the green line here after 4:45 a.m. this morning. Over here about 5:50. I'm sorry, 4:50 a.m. 4:50 a.m. we have a bunch of tremors and minor earthquakes, 2.0 minor earthquakes. On the next blue line, which would be about 4:30 this morning, we have some tremors and minor earthquakes there as well. 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes. Now we come down here after 6 a.m. On the blue line here is 6:30 on the left-hand side. We come over here to about 6:40. We still have some tremors and we have some minor earthquakes as well. About 6:56 a.m. this morning, all of a sudden we have a 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake over here in Marktree, Arkansas, northeastern Arkansas. How about that? Look at all these earthquakes. At least two 3.0s and a bunch of minor earthquakes here as well. 2.0, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Look at all that. Down at the bottom of this, on this green line, you see activity here. Over on the left-hand side, it's 10:45. Over here in the center, this is about 10:04 a.m. this morning. We have a bunch of tremors. Those tremors quickly turn into 2.2, 2.3 minor earthquakes. And from there, they turn into 2.7, 2.8 as well. On the next red line after 11 a.m. here at the bottom, on the red line over on the left, we have 11:15 over here on the right. This is 11:20. This would be 11:24 a.m. this morning. 2.0, 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes here. Okay? All we used to have were minor earthquakes and small earthquakes all over here. A small being 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here in Marktree. Things have gotten a lot less here. Let's look at Marktree, Arkansas this afternoon. Look at this. Again, things changed this afternoon. Yes, we have a lot of tremors. Over here on the left-hand side after 1 a.m., I'm sorry, not 1 a.m., 1 p.m. this afternoon on the left-hand side is 1:30. We come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1:35 this afternoon. We have 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here. Continue over here to the right. 1:56, 1:57 p.m. this afternoon, we have 3.0 earthquakes here. 3.0 earthquake sequence that started about 1:56 p.m. this afternoon for 3 minutes. This sequence doesn't stop there. We come over to 1:45 on the green line on the left. Then they turn into tremors after the 3.0 small earthquake sequence there. All of a sudden we have tremors. Then after 2 p.m. this afternoon, 2:18 p.m. this afternoon, we have more 3.0 earthquakes here. Marktree, Arkansas. Incredible. This is just over on the western side, or the eastern side, no, I'm sorry, the western side of the New Matter Fault. Arkansas. Let's go up to north central Arkansas. Ozark Fault Center, north central Arkansas. Look what we have here. All we have are microquakes before about 6 a.m. this morning, 5 a.m. this morning. Then all of a sudden we have some tremors after 5 a.m. on the black line. We jump down here to approximately 7 a.m. this morning. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 7:04 a.m. this morning. We have a 2.3 earthquake. We go over 2 minutes later, 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. A minute and a half later, we have a 3.0 earthquake. Over here on the right, on the red line below that, this is approximately 7:26 a.m. this morning. 3.0 earthquake again. On the next blue line going down here after 9:30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9:35 this morning. Another 3.0 sequence of earthquakes. Lasts about 10 seconds. Your floor is shaking lasting 10 seconds. We drop down to 11 a.m. over here on the left. Then over here at approximately 11:07, we have another 3.0 earthquake. Back-to-back earthquakes here, probably 3 earthquakes back-to-back here for about 5 or 10 seconds. Seismic energy has changed here in Arkansas, hasn't it? Even in north central Arkansas, we've seen small earthquakes. Incredible, huh? It sure is. Now, I want to go south to Truman, Arkansas now. Look at this, guys. Truman, Arkansas, up until about 6 weeks ago, we had 3.0 earthquakes here as well. Now we are having tremors and minor earthquakes here. Tremors and minor earthquakes here in Truman, Arkansas this morning. Let's look at Truman, Arkansas this afternoon. Look at this afternoon. Yes, we have tremors here. But after 1:15 this afternoon, approximately 1:17 this afternoon, we had a 3.0 earthquake sequence. That sequence lasts about 10 or 15 seconds. 3.0 earthquakes here. Yes, it appears that they've cut off the top and the bottom of this sequence. So this may have been larger than that, possibly even as large as a 3.5 earthquake here. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here. And the other sequences before and after that, those are 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes. The earthquake sequence didn't start right then or end. Over on the right side, let's take a look over here. At 1 p.m. on the left-hand side, and over here, approximately just before about 1:13, we had tremors, and then we had our first 1.6, 1.7 after that, and just about 1:14, we had a 2.8 earthquake. I'm sorry, 1.8 tremor here. Then the tremors continue over here on the left-hand side after 1:15. Tremors and minor earthquakes up until the 3.0 sequence here. Didn't end there. The secondary wave goes out, what, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7 minutes. The secondary wave lasted 7 minutes, which means this sequence was really cut down. They cut off the top and the bottom of this sequence, a 7-minute secondary wave. That means this earthquake here in Truman, Arkansas this afternoon at approximately 1:17 this afternoon was probably closer to a 4.0 earthquake. 4.0 earthquake here. 7-minute secondary wave, which means the top and the bottom of this sequence was cut off, as we see. This earthquake was probably a 4.0 moderate earthquake here in Truman, Arkansas. Truman, Arkansas, 4.0 moderate quake. On the western side of the Pneumatic Fault. The western side of the Pneumatic Fault, guys. The seismic energy has increased here on the Pneumatic Fault. Let's drop further south to Tyrons, Arkansas. Look here. Again, this is on the western side of the New Madrid. Okay? Not more than 5 miles west of the Pneumatic Fault. Yes, we're seeing tremors here. We're also seeing minor earthquakes. We're also seeing 3.0 plus earthquakes here. On the left-hand side at 4 a.m. this morning. Actually, it's a little bit further down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 6 a.m. this morning, on the black line, we go over here to the right. 1:14 this morning. 3.0 earthquake. Then we drop down to the blue line after that. Okay? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6:30 this morning. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just before 6:06 this morning, we have another 3.0 earthquake. 2 minutes later, we have a 2.7, 2.8. Then 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes later, we have another 1.8, 1.9 tremor. Down to the next green line. This will be 7:47 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Down here after 9:15 on the red line, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We go over to 9:21 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Then we had a 2.4, 2.5 at 10, just before 10:04 a.m. this morning. On the next blue line, down to the bottom on the right-hand side, this would be 10:30 on the left-hand side. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At 10:35 this morning, we have another 3.0 earthquake. So we're seeing tremors, we're seeing minor earthquakes, and we're seeing small earthquakes here at Tyrons, Arkansas. This is on the southwest side of the Pneumatic Fault here in Arkansas. Not too bad, right? Not bad at all. Let's go over to Louisiana. Let's show you what is going on in DeRidder, Louisiana this afternoon. Look at this. Nothing but tremors here this afternoon in Louisiana. Just tremors. Yes, last week in DeRidder and what's the name of that other town here in Louisiana that we have? There's one other town here as well where we had 3.0 earthquakes here in Louisiana last Wednesday. But here you're only seeing tremors here. Just tremors here in Louisiana today. Okay? This is still remarkable. Let's look at DeRidder, Louisiana this morning. Nothing but tremors here in DeRidder, Louisiana this morning. Okay? Now, let's go just up to the north. I want to take a look at Missouri. Missouri, guys. Barker Cemetery, Missouri. 3 years ago, all we had were tremors and occasionally a minor earthquake. Occasionally a minor earthquake. Now we have tremors, we have minor earthquakes, and this started about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, we started having 3.0 earthquakes here. The center of the pneumatic fault here, we have 3.0 small earthquakes. They first started this morning, 8:15 this morning. 8:15 this morning on the black line. We had tremors, and then we had a 3.0 earthquake. Then at 8:34 a.m. this morning, another 3.0 earthquake sequence, the last just seconds. Come over here to the right. This would be 8:41 this morning. Another 3.0 earthquake here. We drop down to the next green line here. Okay. At 8:45 a.m. this morning on the left, we come over here to the center of this side map. This would be 8:53 this morning, another 3.0 earthquake. 8:54, another 3.0 earthquake. Just before 8:55, we had a 3.3 earthquake. Unreal, huh? On the next black line, you can see some 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes. On the next blue line, over here on the right side, center right, 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Then further over here to the right, we have a bunch of tremors. Those tremors turned into full-blown earthquakes by the time they got to 9:45 this morning on the left-hand side. At 9:47, those tremors and minor earthquakes turned into a 3.3 earthquake. 3.3 earthquake here. That sequence didn't stop. The secondary wave lasted 3 minutes. So this 3.0, 3.3 earthquake was probably at least a 3.5 earthquake. 3.5 earthquake here. Barker Cemetery. Already we've had numerous 3.0 plus earthquakes here. You can see them here on the seismogram. How about this afternoon? Barker Cemetery. What are we going to show you? We have some tremors. Then after 1:15 this afternoon, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At 1:42 p.m. this afternoon, 3.0, 3.1 earthquake here. Barker Cemetery this afternoon, 1:42 p.m. this afternoon. Another 3.1, maybe 3.2 earthquake. In 3 years' time period, we've gone from tremors to full-blown 3.0, even 4.0 earthquakes here on the pneumatic fault. That's huge. This is huge, guys. Guys, I wish you would pay attention to what we're talking about. Yes, I know we're having earthquakes all around the world. I know we're going through the Leonid meteor shower. But guys, we have the pneumatic fault that is showing signs of a total, complete rupture here. The pneumatic fault is going to completely pop. very soon. The pneumatic fault is going to completely pop very soon. I'm showing you all of the evidence. Cape Girardeau, Missouri, look at this. Here we have tremors and minor earthquakes. Look at the line of minor earthquakes here. Look at the line of minor earthquakes this morning here. They start over here on the far right here at 7:44 this afternoon. This morning. 7:44 a.m. this morning. 2.0 earthquakes. Those 2.0 earthquakes kept going after 7:45, 7:46, 7:47, 7:48, almost until 7:49 this morning. 2.0 earthquakes here. You can see minor earthquakes all over this seismometer here. The first one started after 3:41 a.m. this morning over here on the top right-hand side here on the blue line. Look at this. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Cape Girardeau this afternoon, nothing but tremors here. There's one minor earthquake there just after 12 noon, about 12:04 p.m. this afternoon. It doesn't stop. East Prairie, Missouri this morning. Look at this. After 7:15 over on the left-hand side. We'll go over here to the right. 7:26 a.m. this morning. 2.3, 2.4. Minor earthquakes. 7:23. 2.7, 2.8. Over here at 7:45 on the green line on the left-hand side. 2.7, 2.8, 3.0 earthquake, right before 7:46. After 7:47 this morning, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3.0 earthquakes. East Prairie, Missouri. Incredible, huh? It doesn't stop. Look at this afternoon. East Prairie, Missouri. East Prairie, Missouri after 1:30 this afternoon. Almost non-stop 3.0 earthquake sequence. And these earthquakes may have been as much as a 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes. East Prairie, Missouri in the center part of the pneumatic fault. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes, folks. We've never seen this kind of sequence before on the pneumatic fault. It's happening. This is signaling, this sequence here is signaling that the pneumatic fault is going to pop very soon. The pneumatic earthquake is going to be imminent. It is literally imminent. It could happen any time. The pneumatic fault is capable of an 8.0, 9.0 earthquake here in the east center part of the United States. That's what's going to happen. The center part of the pneumatic faults here in Missouri, we're showing you this for a reason. The pneumatic fault is going to pop, guys. Janet, where do you live? You say you live near a military base here. You have military choppers flying over your home. Where are you at? Where are you at, Janet? What's going on here, guys? Where you at, Janet? I would really love to know. We have a lot of things going on here around the pneumatic fault all the time. Yes, we have a military base there with B-1, B-2 bombers out of Missouri there. We have 74 people watching, 84 likes. If you like our program, you enjoy what we're showing you, please give us a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe this program. Subscribe this program and also give us a thumbs up and hit that little notification button. It's a bell icon. Click on that bell icon. When you see the drop down menu of 3 items come up, click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. Demon Chapman says Janet has information about National Guard and New Madrid. Yes. I know for a fact we have National Guard on alert down around Missouri and Arkansas. They know what's going to happen. They're monitoring this. They're not telling anybody else so. I think I am the only YouTube person or even on Rumble that's talking about the pneumatic fault. Nobody else is, for whatever reason. Yet the pneumatic fault is going to pop, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. We had 3.0 earthquakes happen here today, hours long. Hours long. They started after 1:30 this morning, and they're still ongoing. Jay Hart, you're right. It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. We've seen this here in California. We've seen it over in the Pacific Northwest. And this is the first time we've seen it here on the pneumatic fault. East Prairie, Missouri, the center part of the pneumatic fault. Guam, Missouri's here. We're seeing 3.0 earthquakes here in Guam, Missouri as well. This is this morning. How would you like to wake up at 1:30, 2:30 in the morning, getting greeted by 3.0 earthquake shaking? Your bed's shaking, your bed may be creeping along the floor. If you put your feet on the floor, you're going to feel the floor move. That's Guam, Missouri this morning. Guam, Missouri this afternoon. This is a little bit less threatening. These are minor tremors and one, maybe two, 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Missouri, guys, Missouri's moving. Missouri's moving in a big way. Homersville, Missouri this morning. Look at this. I'm sorry that this was yesterday afternoon. The top of this seismogram is 12 noon here, and this is after 450. Say 450, 55, 455 this afternoon or yesterday afternoon. This is a 3.3 earthquake. 3.3 earthquake yesterday afternoon. Yesterday evening. Unreal. Missouri, guys. Missouri. Missouri's moving. Missouri's moving in a big way. Kewanee, Missouri here. Kewanee, Missouri. This is just north of the New Madrid Fault. The Mississippi River turns to a northeast bound river, and then it turns north again. This is showing 3.0 earthquake here. The center part of the New Madrid Fault here. Kewanee, Missouri. This is Kewanee, Missouri this afternoon. Starts off with tremors, builds up to 2.3, 3.0 earthquake, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. And then the secondary wave lasts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So that short 3.0 earthquake that you see right here in the center here. Okay. This is approximately 2:22 this afternoon. 2:22, 2:23 this afternoon. Unreal. That simple 3.0 is probably a 3.5 earthquake because the secondary wave lasted 5 minutes. Unreal. The New Madrid Fault is moving. It's moving in a big way. Let's look at Portageville, Missouri here. Look at this. Look at Portageville. Starts off with nothing but microquakes. Then it becomes tremors this morning. Then after 8 a.m., turns into more tremors here. And then it turns into minor earthquakes. And by 11:30 this morning, we have full-blown 3.0 earthquakes here. Michael Kearney just gave members here on the channel here 1-month memberships. Suntory Jim, Harbor Girl, Chrissy S, Calm Doyle, Darren Travel Vlogs, Debbie Jansen, Michael Kearney, Ara Moon, Rose Baby, Josh Rowan, and Cebu. All of you folks got 1-month memberships except for Michael Kearney. He already had a membership here. If you got 1-month memberships, please give Michael Kearney thank you for that. Thanks, Michael, for doing that. We appreciate you. God bless you. God bless all of you that are members of this program. Now, if I have a chance tomorrow morning, we're going to do a members-only meeting. I know I've only done a couple so far. I want to do another members-only meeting tomorrow. So sometime after 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, we'll be coming on the air with our members-only meeting. I hope you all can join me because we're going to talk about the New Madrid Fault. We're going to talk about the earthquakes on the East Coast. Yes, guys, the East Coast. East Coast. Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia are having earthquakes. Why? Why are they having earthquakes? Why do you think the East Coast is having earthquakes, guys? We've talked about this a lot. We've talked about it a lot. The New Manifold is not the only place that's having earthquakes. It's not the only place that's having earthquakes, guys. A lot of places are. A lot of places are having earthquakes. Why do you think we're having earthquakes on the East Coast, guys? Heidi Petrick just gave us another $20 super chat. My gosh, Heidi, thank you so much. Yesterday, Heidi gave us two $50 super chats. Michael Kearney gave us a $50 super chat as well. And Apple Pie just gave us another $50 super chat. Heidi, thank you for that $20 super chat. I just gave you an EMA sticker. I'm giving you a thumbs up on it as well. Apple Pie, if I had a chance, I'd give you an EMA sticker on your super chat, a thumbs up as well. I love and appreciate each one of you for that. God bless you guys. We love and appreciate you very much. Thank you. That helps pay the bills, keep this channel on the air. Also helps promote our research. I spend most of the day, every day, looking at information here. Like I said, the New Manifold is being sandwiched between the earthquakes on the East Coast and the earthquakes on the West Coast. The New Manifold is about to go. Originally, I thought it might be 2 years from now. I think it might happen even sooner. The East Coast. We're having earthquakes on the East Coast because of the New Manifold, or not the New Manifold, the Mid-Atlantic Fault. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Plate is expanding from the center. Let me show you here. Let's go over here to the Atlantic Ocean. The Mid-Atlantic Fault you see here on your screen here. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. It's expanding like this, expanding from the center. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is pushing Europe and the East Coast in an easterly direction. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is pushing the western part of the world in a southwesterly direction. It's pushing Greenland, it's pushing Canada, and it's pushing the United States and northern Mexico in a southwesterly direction. That is why we have earthquakes on the East Coast. USGS is not showing them. I do. Tomorrow we will talk about earthquakes on the East Coast on our members only meeting and on our meeting tomorrow afternoon. We're also going to talk about earthquakes and volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest. There's plenty of activity here in the Pacific Northwest that USGS is not even showing. There's plenty of activity here on the Pacific Northwest that USGS is not even showing. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow evening. Do we have any questions? Jay Hart says the naval map of future North America is looking more and more possible. I agree. It's going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen. It's going to happen in a big way. There's going to be waterways all over North America. Waterways all over the world. Waterways all over the world. It's about to pop. Everything's going to change. everything's going to change in a big way. Do we have any questions? Right at the bottom of your screen, guys, you see our PayPal and our Venmo scrolling across the bottom of your screen. I understand Venmo doesn't work. You see 2 PayPals here. You can go to PayPal and also donate to our PayPal. We'd greatly appreciate it. Okay. Also, you see our address here and you see our email address here. Our address here is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. You can send us comments there. You can send us suggestions of what you'd like us to talk about. You can also send us criticisms as well to our email. We'd appreciate that. Also, just below this video today, after we get off, you see a comment section. You can go there and leave comments about this video today as well. We'd appreciate that as well. So you can send us emails here. You can send us mail to our home. You can send us cards and letters. We haven't got a card here in about a month. We used to get a lot of cards and letters every month. We don't anymore. We maybe get 1 card or letter a month at all. That's it. Inside your card or letter, you can also slip a check, or you can also slip cash inside the envelope, inside the letter you sent us, or inside the card. People do that. We appreciate that as well. That's another way to contribute to this program. And on the letter and in the card, we'd also like you to tell us what things you're doing to prepare for emergencies and disasters. We'd greatly appreciate that as well. Apple Pie and Heidi Petrick, thank you for your super chats. We appreciate everybody supporting our program. We also would appreciate all your love and support here in the chat. We appreciate you all helping support each other, helping each other. It's very much appreciated. Okay, now, I've gone to this chapter before in the New Testament. Philemon, Epistle Paul's letter to Philemon here. Okay, the Apostle Paul's letter to Philemon. It's only 1 chapter long, but verses 6 and 7 are pertinent to what we're talking about. I talk about spiritual matters at the end of our program for just a few minutes. Just a spiritual thought here, a devotional, if you will. Paul here says in verse 6, the communication of thy faith may become effectual by the acknowledging of every good thing which is in you in Christ Jesus. We must acknowledge good things that you do, your friends do, and even our family members do here on our channel. Please acknowledge them and love each one of them, each one of us here. Then in verse 7, for we have great joy and consolation in thy love, because the bowels of thy saints are refreshed by thee, brother. Remember that. Each one of us can be effectual. Each one of us can show love for each other and our families. We can become effectual within Jesus Christ by spreading Christ's gospel far and wide. Don't ever forget that. Let's help spread Christ's gospel far and wide. That's important. Let's love each other. Let's become true servants in God's kingdom. Let's become true servants in God's kingdom. That's what families are all about. That's what the EMA family is all about. Does anybody have any comments or questions before we end this program? I appreciate all of you being here today. We have 57 people still watching here. I'm sure we have probably over 100 thumbs up. If you like what we're doing here, you enjoy what we're doing here, please give us a thumbs up. We'd greatly appreciate that. Thumbs up is one way that YouTube uses to see whether they're going to allow anybody else here on YouTube to see our program. So please, folks, if you like what we're doing here, please acknowledge us by giving us a thumbs up. We have 97 thumbs up, I just checked. Before you leave today, please give us a thumbs up, and also please subscribe to our channel. Also, if you will, please send us donations to our PayPal or even a letter of acknowledgement here to us here locally at 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here again is 28655. We love you. We love you a lot. We appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Please, guys, be careful out there. We're still having thunderstorms. We're still having places that are going to get hit by rain. We're supposed to get some more rain here tonight. There may be thunderstorms and other things going on here tonight. Take care of each other. Love each other. My buddy Rob52 is also here. Rob52 and I are very close friends. God bless you, Rob. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank Janet Blackwood for being here, Michael Kearney, Sage Pup, Heidi's here. I want to thank Rob for being here. I want to thank On Stream here, Jay Hart for being here, my buddy Demon Catman from the east of England. Yes, it's the middle of night in England, and he's here with us. Thank you, DMC. You're awesome. Love you a lot. Linda Goyle is here. Apple Pie is here. Thank you for your donations, you and Heidi Pedrick here today. Thank you, Michael Kearney, for helping spread memberships here on the EMA program. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate my buddy Surgery in Northern Utah. Appreciate you, buddy. Sheila Dean. Let's see here. Who else? Carl Smith is here. Thank you, Carl, for being here. Sage Pub. Renee Stevie's here. My dear sister Renee Stevie's here. Appreciate you, dear. Thank you for everything you do. Let's see here. Who else has been here today? Silver Girl's here. Christ 911. Christ 91's here. Gina W. Noel Nind. You guys received memberships from Michael Kearney. Need to thank him for your memberships here as well. Thank you. Centurium's here. Harbor Girl, Chrissy, Colm Doyle, Darren Travel Vlogs, Debbie Jansen, Aaron Moon, Rosa Baby, Josh Rowan also received memberships. If you received memberships here, thank Michael Kearney for that as well. We appreciate all of you here. We appreciate all of our EMA family here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for acknowledging what we're doing here. And please share this far and wide. Share with your friends. Share with your neighbors. Share with your family and your extended family. Also, the people you associate with here on social media and the people you also work with. We don't want to embarrass you. We're not doing anything here to embarrass you. We're trying to give you information that you can, number one, share to help save lives. To help save lives. We talked primarily about earthquakes. Yes, we talked about the hurricane that's going to hit over in the North Atlantic Ocean here very soon, probably this week, by this weekend. We don't think it's going to get anywhere near the coast, East Coast U.S. It's going to go out in the ocean. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. We love and appreciate each one of you. Spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, guys. I know he would appreciate it. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody.